guys, this weekend we're going to be driving what might be the last great M car ever made. It's also one of the greatest driving cars according to Jeremy Clarkson, which says quite a lot. This is the BMW 1M. We're going to drive it, we're going to see what it's like, and yeah, let's go. Welcome to one of the best sports cars ever made, at least according to most car enthusiasts. We're in the BMW 1M. So, obviously, as you can tell with the M badge attached to the 1, this is a 1 Series, but given the M treatment, which back then, they didn't make a car this small and this light with the M treatment. So, what that pretty much gives you in this car is 335 horsepower, a bunch of parts from the E30 M3, just kind of a parts bin special car in, you know, your typical boring small 1 Series. Now, you would realistically think putting 335 horsepower in 2011 in a car this small might just be a lot to handle, but honestly, it feels like this car was made for it. You put it in sport mode, and it's got just the right amount of power for a car like this. It absolutely flies, and just saying, the one thing I noticed as soon as I got into this car is the gear shifter. I really don't like BMW gear shifters usually. It's a really long throw and it just kind of offsets the whole tight feel of the car because you have a very loose feeling shifter. First thing you notice, this has a pretty short shifter, very tight. Honestly, almost feels like my GT4 shifter. But as soon as you press the gas, you feel that turbocharger. And whereas normally you'd like in your driver's car a naturally aspirated engine, I think it really works with a peppy, like light car like this to have a turbocharger, and there's not too much lag. It kind of kicks in when you need it to, and it's got just the right amount of power to not get you into too much trouble, but put a pretty good smile on your face. Now, we all kind of know Jeremy Clarkson, around the time this came out, made a very, very big deal about it. He compared it, not to any other BMW, but he compared it to the original Golf GTI. By that, he pretty much meant you took your, you know, regular practical, you know, car that a regular person will drive, but you just make it exciting enough that it almost becomes the perfect daily. It's not too much, it's not too powerful, it's just the right amount of power, right amount of everything. And so far from what I've been driving, I'm really getting that feel about this car. If you drive it in sport mode, you have this really aggressive throttle response. I mean, it does a world of difference as soon as you press that M button. But the second you turn it off, right away it all almost shuts down. The car is very comfortable and you can honestly use it as a daily driver. It has a very easy clutch, very comfortable seats. Honestly, the interior completely feels like a normal BMW. You don't know that you're in anything special until you press that M button. Everything stiffens up, you can downshift, and then you can just go. And the power is there, the exact amount that you need, nothing more, nothing less. And it's such a small car that you just feel like you can squeeze into every little spot, every little corner. The wheelbase is just so short, it almost feels like you're driving a rear-wheel drive, you know, hot hatchback. It's amazing. You really don't get this a lot, especially with cars that come to North America. Usually sports cars here are a lot bigger, a lot heavier, and this thing just feels so nimble and so good. So the craziest thing that I feel about this car is the fact that it doesn't have a cult following like, you know, M3s, M2s. I mean, this is almost a forgot about car, and that's really weird to me considering two things. One, it's pretty much known as like the best kind of modern M car. It's what M3s kind of should have been and kind of lost. It's a lightweight car, it's all that. That's one factor of it, but when this car came out, originally BMW were going to make 2,000 or 3,000 of them because, you know, there isn't like a huge market, at least not that they thought, for a car like this. The demand was so big, they ended up making about 6,000 of these. And not only that, these cars have almost doubled in value since they came out. You know, this is an 11-year-old BMW M car, which typically doesn't do so well value-wise. But, you know, new, I don't know exactly what they were. I think they were probably in Canadian dollars, probably in the 60s. Right now, a low kilometer car is going to reach 100 grand. I mean, it's right around there. And that just shows you that the people that are looking for these cars are going to pay up for them. But it's just weird that you really never see too many people talk about them. You don't see too many videos about them. You honestly don't really see them around. it's kind of almost a forgotten about M car, and I feel like if you're not really a true car guy, you might not even know what this is. And that's pretty cool because this car has the if you know, you know factor. I'm driving around right now, you know, nobody looks at the car at all, nobody says anything, nobody gives me a thumbs up. I had one person really like notice this car, and he really freaked out about the car, because if you know what this is, you do know truly how special it is. But to most people, this is the same thing as just a 1 Series, which is pretty crazy considering it's arguably one of the best, you know, sports cars of all time to drive. But that brings me to my next point. You don't really need to worry about sticking out too much. Nobody's gonna vandalize the car. Nobody's gonna look at you different. You can drive this as a true everyday car. Blends into traffic pretty well. It's kind of for you to know and for you to have fun with the car while you're driving. You know, when a cop drives by, you don't really have to be careful. Oh, is he gonna pull me over because I'm a sporty looking car? I mean, they probably don't know what it is. So it's really, to an extreme, got the if you know, you know factor. But if you look at the close details, this is a very, very good looking car. Yes, you kind of have the overall boring 1 Series look, but I mean, the flared wheel arches, this car is significantly wider than the regular one. The wheels look incredible, the back end, the quad exhaust pipes, the bumper's more aggressive. Just a lot of little things that make a very big difference. And you know, every time I walk up to this car now since I've been driving it, it blows my mind how good looking of a car this is, but it's so low key. The one issue I do find that I kind of have with it is it really doesn't sound very good. It sounds like you're driving a 335i, 135i, which is pretty much what it is because that's kind of what the engine's from. But you know, Shmi 150 filmed a 1M about a month and a half ago, and he was saying that he likes the sound, that it sounds very different than new cars. Honestly, I don't really hear it. And to really get to hear this car, you got to really push it. I mean, like 3,000, 3,500, like you got to get to 5,000 RPM probably to really get this car to sound anything special. But I don't mind that. I'm not a huge like sound guy. Like, I do appreciate a car with good sound, but it's not a make it or break it for me personally. Would have been a little nice to either have a little bit of like a rumble from the engine or some turbo noise or something. Here you don't really get that. It does sound like you're just driving a 135i, but you know, you're not gonna get a perfect car, and this car is pretty close to perfect. So I guess that's kind of the one flaw that I managed to find in the car. So yeah, I mean, this was a car that I was really excited to test out for a long time. You know, I've been watching Top Gear my whole life, so I just remember the hype around when Jeremy Clarkson first drove it and how cool it was. And I gotta say, it did live up to the expectations. It was a little bit different than what I thought. In a straight line, honestly, it's significantly faster than I expected it to be. I thought it's actually not gonna be that fast. But when you're just driving it, it doesn't feel exciting. I thought the car is gonna feel exciting kind of at any speeds, at any point. This is a car that gets very exciting and very fun when you push it, but it's very normal when you don't, which is a pretty good thing because it makes it a very, very good daily. But I'm pretty happy with the car. So far, I've had a ton of fun driving it. I've driven it about maybe 80-90 kilometers so far. I'm gonna keep driving it, see if I think of anything else comes up. But I do like the fact that it's a very simple interior, just a regular car that you can just have fun with for yourself. You don't feel like you're driving this thing to show off at all, like not even close. So that's about it for the 1M. Honestly, it was very different than I thought it's gonna be, but I did really, really like it. So let me know what you think in the comments. Like, if you're not subscribed already, subscribe. We're gonna do a lot more cars. This might be the last BMW review for the season, but we'll have a lot more next season and a lot more cool stuff over the winter here. So stay tuned.